What's up, guys? Welcome. It is good to have you. I see so many first-time guests here. Welcome. If it's your first time back in a while, we are so glad that you guys are here joining us at HSM 5 o'clock. We are in the middle of this series, Unfiltered. And if you didn't see last week, it's on YouTube. It was a pretty crazy conversation that we got to have with Pastor Mark Grohocky. And the whole inspiration for this series came from if a speaker was on stage and had zero time to prepare. They literally were on stage, handed a microphone, and then told a word, and they had to talk about it with zero prep time. What would they say? And so that's exactly what we're going to be doing tonight. You're going to see some words that are going to go up on the side screens. When that word hits, it is the very first time that I have seen it. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. Last week, I was super nervous. After last week, I was like, okay, that was kind of fun. Hopefully, it's going to be fun this week. But I'm excited to have this conversation because tonight I get to introduce to you the most gorgeous speaker that I have ever got to share the stage with, the only person in the world allowed to tell me shut up. Welcome my wife, Tracy Druger. Yeah, never got to do that before. So, this is my wife, Tracy. We've been married for 9 years now. And yeah, thank you, Chloe. Thank you. And so I'm excited. Have we ever done anything like this together before?
Never. No.
Are you nervous at all?
Petrified.
Probably just a little nervous. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump right in. We're going to jump into the first word. So let's see what we're going to talk about. I am not a vegan. I could never be a vegan. Like, I love to eat food and animals.
I love steak, but I have a sister that's vegan, so it's okay. Awkward again.
Yeah, we did awkward last week, so let's stay on the vegan trail. That was.
Right.
You have a sister that's vegan?
I do.
So who else is vegan here? If you're vegan, raise your hand. I just want to apologize, right? Justice, you are not vegan, dude. There's no way. Who else? Anybody vegan? I saw some looks of horror when I was making fun of vegans. So, Abby, you're a little vegan? A little vegan? Like, what does so vegan mean? You'll eat salmon? The salmon has to die for you to eat it, therefore you're not vegan. Okay. Unless you just eat it whole. Has anybody ever eaten a goldfish whole? Like you just took it and you were on like a dare or something? Okay. A bunch of dudes raised their hand. Is there a girl in here that's ever eaten a goldfish whole? No? Okay. All right, cool. Vegan. All right, let's check out our next word. Did I say country love? Oh, country.
Country love.
I mean, country and love go together. You know what I'm saying? Anybody love country music?
Yeah.
Parked down by the lake, 80 miles from Santa Fe. Yeah.
Ben.
That's not country.
No.
Who's your favorite country musician?
Tim McGraw. Any Tim McGraw?
All the older ladies in the house celebrate Tim McGraw.
I'm drawing a blank right now, of course.
And Zach.
I love country, though. Darius Rucker. Yeah.
Darius
all right,
Rucker.
yeah,
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
My favorites are, I love Zach Brown Band. He's my favorite. And then my favorite female country artist is definitely Carrie Underwood.
I forgot, yeah.
It gets
Her
me in
too.
trouble when I say that. I don't know why, but I like Carrie Underwood. She's awesome.
Brad Paisley is good, too.
Oh. I think I look a little bit like Brad Paisley.
No, not really.
Tim McGraw?
That's a stretch.
Oh. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I told you she speaks the truth, and there are two perfectly good examples of her speaking the truth. All right, let's see. So, country, I used to live in yeah, we're done with country. Let's go on to our next one. Oh, Uber. Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
We took our first Uber, what was it? A month ago?
Yeah, just about a month ago.
How many of you guys have taken an Uber ride? So the Uber driver we were driving with just kept talking about how like people sell drugs in Ubers and how the last people he picked up were like doing stupid things and
the whole time I was praying that we were going to make it because
she was terrified.
Holy moly, great.
But Uber, we did it. It was fun. It was a good time. But definitely not. I like driving my own vehicle.
Hang on a second. So something I learned about Ben on an Uber ride, he can talk to anybody. So I just sat there and he's talking about, you name it, he was talking about with both times.
Colorado kept coming up. Like, I don't know if it was about marijuana, that like Uber drivers and marijuana or something, but they like, both of our Uber drivers, they were like talking about Colorado, and I didn't understand it, but marijuana, Colorado, I'm not sure. But anyways, that's Uber. All right, let's see what our next word is. We got two people here that their shoes match, and they just happen to be dating, and that was just adorable. I was just feeling that. Like, I wish we were matching right now. That'd have been, our shirts match. Does that count? No. I love shoes. If you guys don't know this about me, I ask for them for my birthday, for our anniversary, for Christmas, for anything and everything. I have more shoes than Tracy does. What do you think about my shoes?
He has an obsession with shoes. No. He takes up half the closet with his shoes. I have like 5 pairs of shoes. Okay? I hate shoe shopping.
And like 4 of them are flip-flops.
Just about, yeah.
No, I love shoes. Jordan, Nike, Timberland. That's what I like to wear.
Any other girls not like shoes here? Am I alone? All right. 5 of you.
There we go. So if anybody has size 9 Jordans that they no longer have a use for, send them my way, because I will definitely put them to good use. I know I got small feet. It's true, Colin. You're right. I'm not going to go any further. It is unfiltered, but I'm not going to go any further. I could come back for that, but.
He's not going to grow taller.
All right, let's see what our next word is.
Budget. Ooh.
I'm going to let her start with this one.
There's a budget? No.
So, in every relationship, usually there's a spender and then there's a saver. We happen to both be spenders. Hence the shoes. But
Wait. No. How did he get those shoes? Who saved the money to buy him the shoes, though?
Credit cards are dangerous things.
Oh, my goodness.
All of a sudden, there's a couple $1,000s on your credit card, and you're not sure how you got there, and I know how we got there, and I'm wearing it on the stage right now. But in all seriousness, no, we've set a budget, and we have a budget, and honestly, we've saved the most in our marriage and in life. When we had a budget, we do this thing called the envelope system. And so what it is you take money out of the bank and you spread it out across these envelopes, because it's a lot harder to spend cash than it is to use a credit card. So if you have a credit card, it's like, bloop, I love these shoes. If you spend cash, it's like, that is a whole lot of stack of Benjamins. I don't know if I love my shoes this much. And so we do have a budget, and we try to stick by it, and that's pretty much the only way we can save any money. And I even had a budget when I was in high school, and I had my lawn business, and I was making good money as a high schooler. I had a Honda Civic, is that what you said? I had a Pontiac Firebird, bro. Oh, I had a Honda Civic in college, but not in high school. But what about you? Did you have a budget when you were in high school?
No. Unfortunately, I was told growing up that you needed credit. So all y'all, you're going to be 18 at some point in your life. Biggest advice, yes, you need to develop credit, but I was not taught, hey, you got to pay that off every month. You can't just use it and, just pay the minimum, because you're going to be paying it off for years. And unfortunately, that actually trailed off into our very first couple years of marriage. So if you don't have the money, don't buy it. And if you want it bad enough, you'll know, because you're willing to save for it, or you'll pay cash. You're like, okay, because I can even do that now. If I have the cash in my wallet and there's something I see that I want, I'm like, if I'm willing to use the cash for it, that's how I know I really want it badly. And if I'm not, and I'm like, I'll just swipe the credit card, then I know I don't want it bad enough. So just take that with you. Try not to use your credit cards.
Use a budget. Give 10% to God.
Yes.
Honor God.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, let's check out our next word. Ooh, personality. Okay, let's have everybody vote. Who thinks Tracy is extroverted? Raise your hand if you think Tracy's extroverted. Thank you, Ben. You're a good man. Who thinks Tracy is introverted? Raise your hand. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, the whole room went up. All right, if you feel I am introverted, raise your hand. I love that you're laughing at me. If you think I am extroverted, raise your hand. Okay, so we got that settled. What else can you tell us about your personality, maybe?
I would say, for me as an introvert, any other introverts in here, I know some of you are probably not going to raise your hand because introverts don't raise their hands here. But, all right, two of you. All right, well, I'll just talk to two of you here. In high school specifically, I struggled so much with my personality. I was told that I needed to change my personality and who I was. I was given a book to change my personality. Hey, let me help you change your personality. You shouldn't be an introvert, you should be an extrovert. And so my whole time I fought who I was and struggled with my identity and who I was as an introvert. And it wasn't until later through college where I realized, this is who I am, and that's okay. I can go to a party and I'm super uncomfortable, but I learned, okay, I'm gonna find the seat where I'm gonna be comfortable and I'm gonna sit there the whole time, and I know some of you can relate with me, and I'll let everybody come to me to talk, and that's how I've coped kind of just being an introvert. So it's okay, God made you that way, and just be who God made you to be, and don't change for anybody ever.
And I've seen God use like my personality. Like I am super, super driven. Like I like to chase after things. I like to aspire to things. I'm a commander if you do the 16 personality test. I'm an Enneagram 3 if you do Enneagrams. Like that's just who I am. But my personality at times has limited my ability, like especially my extroverted nature and my ADHD, because I suck at listening. And I am so bad at being present in a conversation. Like standing at the door, high-fiving all of you is like my sweet spot. Sitting down for an hour and having a conversation, I'm dying. And so like my personality, even though that's who I am, sometimes it's held me back. But I've seen God use the pieces that I am, and I love what you said, because we have kids on all different personalities, and the most important thing you can do is become comfortable with your personality. You're going to have to sometimes step out of it in certain situations, but your personality is a gift. God designed you with it. Don't sit back and be like, I wish I wasn't creative. I wish I wasn't artistic. I wish I was this. Or don't sit back and say, man, I wish I was more. Like, be who God made you to be, because so many times when we try to morph into somebody else, nothing good comes of it.
Absolutely.
That's why I think of personalities. Let's check on our next word. Can we just leave on that word? And no, so I love sex. So I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Like, I am the sex addict in this relationship for sure. But I want to, like, when I see the word sex, so many things come to mind, and none of them I should probably talk about from stage. I probably shouldn't look at my wife right now when that was the last word that was mentioned. So I'm gonna look over here. Here's the thing though that I've learned. Like growing up, you learn about sex and you have that awkward conversation with mom or dad or somebody in the locker room or whatever, however you heard about sex and learned about sex. But inside of our marriage, there was these fantasies of what sex was going to be. And sex is not what Hollywood makes it out to be. Sex is not what fantasy novels make it out to be. Sex is beautiful. Sex is so powerful. Sex is amazing. I can go on and on listing adjectives or adverbs about sex, but the thing that I want to talk about is, like, so many times I think we have this expectation for what sex is going to be, and so many times it's not that. I think there's so many reasons for it. I hear these stories about students, young adults, people that, like, their first sexual expression, their first intimate moment was in a bathroom or the back of a car. And I just sit there and I think, man, you missed out on a really cool opportunity. And when I think about sex and sex inside of marriage, like when you first get married, I'm going to give you like a really good, really important tip here. Like sex inside of marriage is fantastic. It leads to babies, which are not as fantastic.
They are, but
yeah, you just don't get to sleep anymore. But once you get married, like go into it, and once you meet that person and you get married, go into it without any expectations, and go into it and take away what Hollywood said sex is. Take away what every rapper you ever heard said what sex is, and remember that it is a glue. It is a beautiful thing, and inside a marriage, it's incredible to have a partner that you know is not having sex with anybody else, that's just something you and them share. But that's kind of what comes to mind when I think of sex. But what about you, sweetie? Like, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness. No.
Hey, baby.
Okay. Whoa.
It's unfiltered. Come on. All right, go ahead. I'll stop interrupting her. She's going to tell me to shut up.
I am. Kind of on a more serious note, everybody in this room is going to have a different story. You're going to have a different time that you meet your spouse. It may be 20. You may not meet that person until you're 30. Is it possible to wait? Absolutely, 100%. And when I was in high school, and that was, I'm not going to say how many years ago, it was a long time ago, I know how hard it was for me and for just the pressure. And I can only imagine everybody in this room right now. But there's one particular time where I actually had asked a guy to a dance, and he told his friend to tell me no because I wasn't going to sleep with him. And so just remember, you can say no, it's okay. And I mean, he was cute, and but I said no, and I was like, there's no way. So it's possible. And then and as you get older, and as for me, I was getting into my 20s, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm still waiting for that person, and all these people around me are just go do it, go have fun. And but in the church that I was in, I was very grounded there, and so I had God, the Holy Spirit, telling me, no, that's not what you should be doing. And so I didn't. But I tell you, the pressures, especially somebody close to you that says, hey, you're getting older, you need to experience it. And that's hard. And you guys are gonna experience that. You're gonna experience negative filters in your life. Just remember what God says. And when you wait, it is so much better than not waiting. But God can also heal that too. So don't.
And there's a vast portion of this room that's sexually active right now. And what I want you to know is that we are so glad that you're here, and that even though the fact that you are sexually active, God still loves you, and there is still the ability for you to have a lifelong, fulfilling marriage and a happy marriage. And we want you to know that this is a place that you're welcome, and that we're so glad that you're here. But inside of that, I do believe that even if you've been sexually active in the past, or you're sexually active with your partner or your boyfriend or girlfriend right now, that inside of that when you will say, what, we're gonna build this foundation, we're not gonna be intimate until we have this lifelong commitment, that is what honors God, and that is what builds a much healthier foundation for you to build a future with somebody in. And so sex is one of those things that it's funny because vast majority of music talks about sex. Vast majority of TV shows have at least multiple sexual scenes inside of them. In school, everywhere we talk about sex, and then we walk through the doors of a church, and it's like, why are we talking about sex? Why? We should be able to have conversations, and you have mentors, and it's one of those things that is on my mind all the time. So if it's on my mind all the time, it should be one of those things that we're comfortable talking about. That's my thoughts on it, and I really hope I get lucky tonight. All right. What's our next word? Let's see what our next word is. The lights are blinking. That means it's time to go home. Let's go. No, here we go. Waiting. Oh, that's probably off the sex question.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say waiting is the best plan. Wait until you have that lifelong commitment, that you're in marriage. That is God's plan, is for you to be intimate with one person for the rest of your life. So let's go ahead. What's that next one? That was our last question. Oh, there we go. Oh, ooh.
By myself.
What's that?
Without you. No.
She said that smiling.
Alone time,
I think of Akon. Lonely, I'm so lonely, ain't got nobody to call my own. Every time I think about lonely, I just think about Akon. But what do you think about when you think about lonely?
I think I get refueled when I'm by myself. When I get to by myself and I'm alone, it's like I could take a deep breath. I do have 5 kids,
That's
so
right.
that might be part of it.
I do think that there's this pressure of, when I think of alone, I think of so many students that come here to HSM and PBC students, and they feel alone at their school. Sometimes they feel alone at their house, and it breaks my heart when you feel alone here. Like, I talked about justice this morning, and I love students here that when they see somebody sitting by themselves, they go sit next to them, because this is a disgusting place for somebody to feel alone. Like, no one should ever feel alone at church, because we are a body, we are a family. And so I'm so thankful for students that make sure someone doesn't feel alone. And if you're here tonight and maybe you felt alone in the past here, maybe you're feeling alone here tonight, I want you to know that's not the way it should be. That's not what we want for you. That we want this to be a place where you know you are welcome, where you know that there are people that care about you. That's why these mentors are here in this room. And honestly, loneliness leads to so many negative things inside of life. Loneliness leads to depression and suicide rates. Loneliness leads to all kinds of things. And so if you're feeling alone, and it's not a positive thing because your personality is refilled by it, if it's really a negative inside of your life, please let somebody know. Like, there are mentors here that will make sure that changes. I look at Shanita right now. She's in the back. She's like nodding her head. She's like, preach, pastor. Like, there are mentors here that don't ever want you to be alone. And so if that's you tonight, please find one of the adults in the room and let them know, man, I was here tonight and I felt alone. We would love to try to be there for you.
Or put it on your connection card.
Totally.
I was jokingly saying alone, like, as an introvert, I get refueled by being alone, but also by being alone and by being an introvert, it is really hard. You just have to, one of the biggest advice that I can do is tell you guys is that it's okay to be uncomfortable. I mean, put yourself out there. It's okay. You can do it. Just keep self-talk yourself that you can do it. Go. If no one's coming up to you, go up to them. And it's uncomfortable, but you've got to do it too. So you don't get into that you get really sad, and yeah, so that's all.
Because I had to pursue her.
He did.
And it turned out really good for me. All right, here we go. Let's see, we've got one more, I think. Oh, that was the last one. Okay, so can everybody give Tracy a big round of applause? Thank you for being here with us. All right, so leaving on that last thought, I'll come back to alone. And if you are here and you have felt alone, there is someone that can change that. And that someone's not me. That someone knows every emotion. He knows every feeling that you have. He is the only one that can be there in the darkest moments of your life. He's the only one that can be there in the good moments of your life. And that person is God. God came and he desires to have a relationship with you. And if you've walked through life and you've experienced life alone, then what I want you guys to know is that Jesus desires to have a relationship with you. He desires to put his Holy Spirit inside of you. And if you've never begun that relationship with God, you can do that tonight. God would love to be a part of your life. And he wants it so badly that he came and he died for you. And so in order to do that, all you have to do is just let him know. Just invite him into your life. Ask him to forgive you for the things that you've done, the things that haven't lived up to your own expectation, and definitely haven't lived up to God's. Ask him to forgive you. Put your faith and trust in him, and you will never be alone. You may not have people inside of your life, but God will always be there inside of your life. So if you want to do that, you can do that right there in your seat. You can connect with us out in the lobby. You can mark your card and let us know that you would love to do that. But we're so excited about this Unfiltered series. And inside of this Unfiltered series, we don't know what we're talking about, but we know that every answer we want to answer from the filter of this is what God has to say, and we want to be ready to give an answer. So I want to share with you guys one verse, and this verse is the verse that is just preparing us for the rest of our life. And this is what it says in Colossians 4, 5, and 6. And this specifically is a challenge for everybody here who says that they're a follower of Christ. And Paul says this to the church at Colossians: live wisely among those who are not believers, and make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be gracious and attractive so that you will have the right response for everyone. We're going to have these conversations inside of life. And as you leave here, maybe you're going to have a conversation about how super awkward it was having two adults that are married talking about sex on the stage. When you leave here, you're going to have conversations, and you're going to have people that are going to come up to you and talk to you over this next week. When you get back to school, there's going to be people that are going to talk to you. And what I believe is that if you will walk with God, if you will spend time in his word, if you'll spend time with other believers, if you will commit your life to him, God will use those conversations to do incredible things. Don't be afraid to bring God into everyday conversations. When something just pops up, from shoes to budgets to loneliness to personalities to sex, don't be afraid to say, I'm confident in the fact that I'm a follower of Christ, and God happens to relate to every area of my life. And so I want to pray for you guys as we leave here that God will be using this conversation in some weird, twisted way inside of your life. And as we come back next week, we're going to continue our series, Unfiltered. We would love to have you guys back, but let me pray for us as we dismiss. God, I'm so thankful for every student, every mentor that's here. Thank you so much for the fact that we can just be here together, that we can just have these conversations, and that you're here in these conversations, and that you want to teach us and lead us. Lord, we're so thankful for what you're doing inside of our lives. I'm so thankful for my wife and the incredible woman of faith that she is, and what a blessing she is. And so I'm so thankful that we could just stand here and be able to talk with each other. Lord, thank you so much for this week. I pray that you would just bring about some really crazy conversations in the lives of these students and mentors, that they would just have a boldness, that they can be on the spot, asked a question, and they can answer in a way that will honor you and will relate back to you. And so we love you, God. Thank you so much for what you're doing. It's in your name we pray.